heard so far is us defending ourselves. So why don't we hear from the complainers? Can one of the complainers get on and explain exactly how we're tying up and we ruined their evening or their GT VHF experience? I'd just like to know from them. So I'll end it there. And also, one more note. If you're going out and starting cutting wires and tearing down towers, well, you can so much for this great VHF or ham radio communication community in Newfoundland. I mean, that'll just prove just what a... Anyway, I'll keep that to myself. Anyway, you've had my opinion, gentlemen. VO1 Delta Mike. VO1 Delta Oscar Echo.
Yeah, thanks for that, Lyndon. And I don't mean to piss in anyone's cornflakes, excuse the expression, because I count you all among my friends, and I enjoy listening to you from time to time. But the half hour on, half hour off is a big thing because it gives the PA and all the repeaters that are heat up at the same time a half hour to cool off and reboot will say, not to use that term, and you're ready to go again. So anyway, thanks, Lyndon. Appreciate it. Then we'll go on to Tom, B1TY.
Yeah, so my thoughts on all this is, I understand, on that repeater, it is busy. We do have a lot of chatter on it, but only for about 3 or 4 hours in a night. And we do have a little bit of a habit of being a little bit quick on the key, and that's something that can be worked on, but, I mean, it's just, we do give breaks to people who need to get through and use the frequency. We have did it. I'm not going to give any examples. I do have a few examples, but I'm not going to bother because there's a few examples and it's been recently. It's like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. You need the frequency. Go ahead. Yeah, it's all yours, and that's what we do. And yeah, this whole business about cutting coax and hauling towers down and everything else. I mean, come on, but listen, if we're going to be doing that, we might as well go back to CBs. You know what I mean? Because it was the same reason then. And there is not a lot of chatter on GT during the day. There is some, but that's the busiest time around that time and a little bit after. And I can understand too about the equipment and stuff. Yes, maybe some things need to be necessarily made for that. But we have brought in a lot of new people and a lot more coverage for a lot of people on GT getting in to say hello and do whatever. And I don't think it's fair to throttle us, to throttle people on that radio like that, because, I'm going to take a break for 1 second just to let the repeater drop for a second. Yeah, sorry about that. And on another hand too, I mean, listen, if it's going to be an issue, like that, then maybe we should change the utilization for GT. Use it for the net, use it for emergency traffic, and use it for a call channel, and go wherever. I mean, you know what, maybe there is some changes that do need to be made, but I was taken aback by this last night when it was brought up, and I didn't take it too kindly. You know what I mean? Like, we brought people into the repeater, and we've made lifelong friends and everything else, and we all have. And to echo what Don just said, we're a community of ham radio operators. We're a fraternity. And, that's just it. You know what I mean? If there's only, several people or a few people having issues with the repeater, I don't know. Do we cater to one person? Do we cater to everybody? I don't know. But there is times when, myself speaking as a truck driver, I can't get out to any other repeater. I have to go on Echolink to get to GT. I can't get out to the other repeaters. I can at the house, but it's no good, or if I'm in the car maybe. But, so, maybe going to another repeater could be an option too. I mean, maybe we should to give the repeater a break. I'll give it one more break for 1 more second, and then I'll finish off. But yeah, as for rules and regulations, we are pretty good following the rules and regulations on the radio. We give breaks to people when they need it. We do take periodic breaks during the night. You know what I mean? So, yeah, there's a scattered time when we might get a little bit out of hand, now and then. And maybe Tom was right from the beginning. Maybe we should set up a separate node that we can use to have a chat, whatever. I mean, listen, before this summer, I was out here for 2 or 3 years because every time I came on, there was nobody there. There was nobody on the radio. There was not a soul around, so I took all the gear out. And now that I'm back on and I'm enjoying it again, I'm making all these friends, and now all of a sudden this stuff comes up, I don't completely agree with it. But that's my say on it. I'm not 100% right. Nobody's perfect. But that's just my 2 cents on it. Back to you, Doug.
Yeah, okay, Zach, I appreciate that, and that's what this is all about.
Victor Oscar 1 Delta Mike, Victor Oscar 1. Me and Mike in the group there. I appreciate that. It's good to be using the system in one way. It makes use of the system. It provides enjoyment to the users. So there's lots of reasons why people should talk on the system and not be forbidden from talking on the system. The other part of it is there's certain etiquette that you need to take care of in ham radio, and as Linda pointed out, it's a good practice every 10 or 20 minutes. Take a break for a minute or so and see if anybody else wants to get on the system. And if the boys are doing that, it's great. I agree with your other suggestions of using alternate.
Anyway, I'll listen again. Anyone to check from the St. John's area?
This is VO1 TAD portable. VO1 Hotel Alpha X-ray.
VO1 Delta Oscar Echo.
VO1 Tango Yankee.
VO1 Delta Hotel Sierra.
Okay, I have 5. I missed one, so I'll tell you who I've got. I've got TAD, HAX, DOE, TX, or TY, I'm sorry, and DHS. Who'd I miss?
VO1 Delta Mike. Good evening, Doug. And, I don't know what to say. This is something new for me, but I'll say this, and then it'll go from there. I've been a ham radio with you a long time, and I've enjoyed doing the ham, and I've spent some time on going to the mall, selling tickets to get equipment for the ham radio, and so we could use it and pay my contributions and stuff like that, so we could enjoy using the ham radio. However, that being said, I've said before, if the radio's there all day long and all we do at nighttime is check in and say no traffic 7-3, then to me that's not much good to me at all. I'm not getting much use out of the radio. I'll say that much. Something you said there when I was listening first is that we could go to NTV. Now I'm not sure where NTV is too, but if that works, well, what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. I'll go along with that too as well. Doug, I appreciate you doing this, and I know it's hard sometimes when you got to walk the fine line, but other than that, I'll say 7-3 and just stand by.
I guess a lot of people are missing the boat here, and as well, there's lots of, besides the local repeaters here in St. John's and across the island, there's also Simplex, and you don't hear anybody in Simplex very much, but, there's no reason why you can't work Simplex across town here. I usually don't have a problem with it, and I don't know if what other people have. Perhaps it's the gear I have and what they have as well. So maybe they are having issues. But anyway, that's my 2 cents, Chuck. 7-3.
VU1DM, VU1HX, and thank you, Doug.
Doug, for having this meeting so we can discuss it.
Meeting?
So I like that you offered the possible solutions, and of course they're going to be a night by night basis depending on who's on and when they're on. So yeah, those are certainly options. I think at the moment, someone else will probably say it, I think at the moment RCR might be down. And I believe that's the only repeater Chris can hit at the moment, so hopefully that will be back up in the not too distant future. So yeah, I'm open to ideas. Simplex I don't think would work for most of us. Other repeaters can certainly work. Again, sometimes some of us are mobile or not able to reach a repeater. In that case, I do like the 30 on, 30 off. So yeah, if there's an issue with repeaters and cycle time, it'd be great to know if we could have, not necessarily a list of that, but some information that says, hey, you know what, these repeaters are only 50% duty cycle, we can't have them keyed up for more than this period of time. And then, we can work around that, because obviously there's quite a few repeaters involved here. And they're all tied together, and they're all different repeaters, and they all operate slightly differently. So, yeah, definitely open to ideas. I'll pass it back to you, and we can carry on. V1 DM, V1 HAX.
V1 Delta Mike, V1 GAD Portable. Good evening, Doug, everybody else monitoring. I can understand the issue of tying up the whole island-wide link or using half hour on, half hour off. I even brought up the issue of possibly setting up a node at my QTH, which is Center City, and possibly one out to Linden's QTH out in Placentia Junction. We wouldn't tie up the link, but we could still have our conversations. But I guess we'll see where everything goes from here, and I'll be monitoring. Back to you.
Yeah, sounds good, Dave. It's from central Newfoundland to the northeast coast. One Tango Hotel. Come on, you go Mike Romeo. V1 TH, very good evening. Terry, go right ahead. Don't like V1 Tango Hotel. Before I go ahead, Doug, you hearing me okay? Yeah, a little bit of scratch with you, but we're getting every word. Enough, Doug, yeah, I didn't start right off at the beginning of the round table. But anyway, my two cents worth is I like hearing people on the repeater system on this, but out here in Central, we have, what we do is we like to use the compound link to make contact with people, but when we want to reg to, we just go off to another repeater. So again, we're fortunate enough we have ATE repeater, Grand Falls, we got JY, and another one up there, I think, and Lewisport has the same thing. So we get on the air and want to have a long reg to, so we just go off to another repeater. And probably using one repeater just lending the link for a long range reg to is really not what I want to hear anyway. And also, I have gone from Gooey's right into Burnside and haven't been able to get on the air because the system has been tied up. With regard to the don't know to put a repeater in the link out and in the link work out well as well there. And also the repeaters. I'm getting that out on the Eastport Peninsula on a regular basis, so I mean that should certainly cover a lot of the area of the Avalon. So anyway, but having said all that, I still like hearing people rag you on the system, but not to hold tied up for an hour or two or three at a time. Well, that does something else report from V1 Tango. Yeah, very good, Terry. Yeah, good points. Agree 100%. The ideal is to make your call on the cross island link and then move to a standalone repeater if you can. Sometimes you can't. And when that happens, again, I think we should bear in mind the half hour on, half hour off. Anyway, the man from Buttwood,
the round table, so to speak. And good evening to everybody that's on the side listening, for sure. Yeah, my take on that, for sure, and, come from my end, new into the hobby, loving it, and so on, and building on the little bit of stuff that I have here, so to speak. And in time, it grow a little bigger, and so on and so on. But anyway, so free.
Yeah, V1 EMR, Eugene, you dropped out for some reason. Try again. It's unfortunate Eugene dropped out. Let's hope he'll come back again. Anyway, we'll carry on and listen for anybody else from central Newfoundland or the northeast coast.
Kilo Victor Tango.
V1 KVT. Very good evening, Ken. Go right ahead.
DM V1 KVT. Good evening, Doug, and to all the people that are on the frequency here this evening. And good discussion, and we got to respect everybody's comments. Everybody's entitled to their comments here. And I'll give mine for what it's worth. I do echo what V1 Tango Hotel says, pretty well the same for me here. I think if possible, if somebody want to get on individually or group, if there's an option of going to an alternate repeater or frequency to get off the link, I think that would be the best option to do it. However, in listening for several months or whatever, there's times when the people on the Avalon speak to people here in Central and the West Coast, that sort of thing, and you need the link to communicate. Everybody has a right to use the link system. That's what we got to put up here for all of us to use. And no one is saying that they shouldn't use it. I think I encourage use of the system. And some of the boys brought some good points forward that there's not a lot of activity. But during the time when people choose to get on there, in particular in the evening times, I think, my point anyway, I think you should be mindful of giving the repeaters a break for the usage of the repeaters, and giving the system for a break for others that may want to get in there and use it, and so on and so forth. And one thing that's missing here tonight, I think, amateur radio is part of emergency communications, and in the case of there's an emergency, I think we have to be very mindful of that. So we got to give proper break times or silence times on any communications to listen for somebody that may be in some sort of emergency situation. So I agree with some sort of on time for 30 minutes or less, or 30 minutes and less than 30 minutes. 30 minutes and 15 minutes break time maybe, or 20 minutes and 10-minute break time, whatever, whatever works. I think Don said it, we're all together here. We're sharing a system, and I think we all got to try to make the best of it as we can there. So whatever we can come up with to work, that everybody is happy and we can continue on with this system, I think that's good. I'm just going to break for a second. So, I think we should try to work together, and people talking about vandalism and that and sort of thing, that don't work, and we can forget that. So, we have to try to work together here and come up with a solution that's going to work for all of us. So, hopefully we can. And a lot of good suggestions there. The first guy that came up talking about the nodes, that's an alternative. But I think one right now it's already in place. If you need to have a conversation, if possible, if it covers the area that everybody is in, switch off to a standalone repeater or simplex. But if you're going to use the link system, be mindful of others, be mindful of the times that you're using on there, and hopefully we can agree on a certain amount of time beyond there and have a few breaks in between to let people get in there, let the repeaters have a bit of a break as well, and continue on. And out here in Central, we got our club. We got 5 repeaters that we're responsible for. We spend a fair bit of money to maintain them, and we are prepared to continue to do that to serve everybody. So that's about it from me, V1 KVT.
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Ken. All good points. Maybe 30 with a 15-minute break is the way to go. If fellows are into, a fairly heavy rag chew, that may make more sense. That gives them a little more chance to chat, plus it gives the repeaters time to cool down. Thanks, Ken. Anybody else from, before I do, V1EMR, Eugene, are you back? No, not hearing you, Eugene. Can you bump up your power, possibly?
Okay, sir, back again. Going through the GFR repeater. How about it now?
Yeah, you're good now. Go ahead. You dropped out there the last time.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but I must say, thank you so much, sir, for calling this round table, so to speak. There's a lot of great fights, and I'm a firm believer of just new into it, a new building on what I have here. 15 minutes on, 15 off, or at least 5 minutes off, or some sort of a break. Anyway, got me?
Yeah, sounds good, Eugene. Appreciate your comment. I think we'll lean towards the 30 on, 15 off. And thanks for your comments. Have yourself a good night. Anybody else from central Newfoundland or the northeast coast? Nothing heard. How about the south coast and the Barren Peninsula? Nothing heard, so we'll look for comments from the west coast and the northern peninsula.
Yeah, V1DNK, Doug, you stepped on me there.
V1DNK, hope I didn't hurt you. Go right ahead.
Nah. I'll just take them tough anyway. Anyway, Doug, just to put in my 2 cents for it, I guess, and I'm going to take it in a little different direction. Not a whole other direction, still kind of the repeaters, but yeah, I think the 30 and a 15-minute break certainly would be a good idea to let the repeaters cool down, and the nodes that we're using, the Sherry nodes and that, need a little break to reset. Not long, just a minute or a couple minutes, and good to go again. So it's always mindful to keep that in mind too when on there, and if you're having a rag show with somebody. But yeah, so I don't want to see anybody going anywhere. It's nice to turn on the radio, hear activity on there for sure. Especially when down in the booth here, we're isolated pretty much. We don't have MST here, as you know, but that has not been. It's on there. It's good to go. But as you know, that link has been down now, going on pretty much a year. Not sure what's happened. Would like to know going forward if when it comes to maintenance or whatever. I'm going to give the repeater a little breakdown. Yeah, just to continue on there, I'm just wondering what's happening. Like, I know Boyd was doing his best, but he's very busy at work. Is there anybody else in the fraternity that could take a look at the system? Like, by MST being down, we're actually excluding operators in the Brexel. Like, VO1CEB, he can't use repeater from his location. He can't hit my node. Other than that, he could use my node. I have a node set up, and anybody welcome to use it. But, it seems like we're cut off for whatever reason. I know, like I say, it's volunteer. I mean, I've spent money. I've set up this node and that's all out of my pocket. And I've spent money on MST. And it's been hours up there working, putting up the antennas. We had a situation where the tower came down. And I went up there myself and went and got materials and put the antennas back up and get it all lined up again. And seemed to be working okay to ARG. But that's my rant on that. Anyway, like I said, I think the 30 and the 15 would probably work great, for sure.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Derek. I'll find out if I can what's going on with MST. I know Boyd He's quite busy. He's working on his own again with Snowbird Contracting. He's at COF doing VHF marine work. I spoke to Brian today, and like I said, he's now in the city for the summer, working where he normally does, so he's another resource, so I'll touch base with Brian also. So I'll get back to you, Derek. And we'll listen now for comments from the West Coast and the Northern Peninsula.
Victor Oscar 1, Oscar Kilo.
Victor Oscar 1, Oscar Kilo. Go ahead, Michael.
Been listening with interest. Not too sure about the problems sort of having, because I don't really understand VHF as it is. Been a ham for 40 years, active on HF, and we're living in virtually a VHF deserted area. Had the repeater before they had cell phones, but that's the last time I really used it. Appreciate is being able now to, having set up my own node, to get on and talk to you guys now using the network, but also using the All-Star network to speak all around the world over the internet, of course. And also the other issue is with this system we've got now, we do have an emergency backup, given that with All-Star, but of course that only works with when the internet is up and running. Also, as someone just mentioned, having a node here gives access to the rest of Newfoundland for anyone living here or passing through. And for instance, we've got Mel here in Corner Brook, Curling, now has access to all his buddies around the island, which he'd lost as soon as the repeater went down here a couple of years ago. Anyway, interesting conversation, and won't keep you. VO1 OK.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Michael, for your comments. And we'll listen for anybody else from the West Coast or the Northern Peninsula.
Tango.
V1 November Sierra. Very good evening, Melvin. Go ahead, sir.
VO1 Delta Mike in the evening, Nick. VO1 November Sierra. Very good evening to you, Doug, and to all under frequency. Well, you did call in VO1 OK, Michael. Michael come on there. I never got nothing from Michael. Never heard one word that he said. He was all distorted here, but I got to depend on Michael, and I got VO1 OK, and I got to depend on VO1 Lima Mike, and I got to depend on VO1 PX here to get on the 2 meters. Now, I've been on 2 meters and on radio for the past, I'm 91 years old. And I started one of the ones that started the Conjugate many years ago. And all the rest are silent keys, only me. I love to be on 2 meters, and I'm going to be on it as long as I can hold the mic in my hand. So anyhow, I know I had a visitor here last year, I think, is VO1 Hotel Papa, Frank Davis. And he came down to my radio room. I'm going to pause for a minute. Came down to my radio room downstairs. I'm upstairs now on the rig here in the bedroom. And he turned around, he took a few pictures, and he went out to St. John's, and they phoned me back. And he wanted to know, could he do something? I said, yes. I said, what do you want to do? He said, I want to put it on Facebook. I'll take another pause. Anyhow, we got a phone call from the mainland, and said I seen to my daughter, she lives out in Paradise, and she said I see Melvin's picture, she said, on Facebook. She said, and was saying there that I'm about the only VO is in Newfoundland now that's still operating, and all the rest, there's a lot of operators here in Corner Brook, but they're not on radio no more. They gave it all up. They're not on 2 meters. I'm the only ones here, and I got to depend on Dave and Chris and Michael to get me through because I haven't got the internet. So Frank Davis came here. He's a moderator, and I wanted to know what that was. So he was the one that put my picture on Facebook, and the only one that I was talking to is Chris, VO1TX. He said it was in there, and he said, and he put on top there, Frank Davis, VO. He said, figures I'm the only VO in Newfoundland now that's still operating at my age. So, and I thank everybody for looking after me, and I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it, but I didn't hear Michael there because I got nothing when Michael was talking, only static. So, and I'm still operating. I'm not, like I say, I'm 91 years old, and I don't mind. I like to listen to even people talking. I don't have to talk. I just like to listen to people. So I'll turn it back to you. VO1 Delta Mike, VO1 November Sierra.
Yeah, very good, Mel. Yeah, I can confirm that you are the oldest living Newfoundland amp. And let's hope you'll operate until you're 110. Thanks for your comments, Melvin. Have a good night, and we'll go now to VO1TX. Go ahead, Chris.
Mike, VO1 Tango X-Ray. Yeah, very interesting. Good evening to everybody there. Very interesting conversation and very great comments, I have to say. And I think the main thing, everybody's pretty much said what I've thought too as well, is I don't think it's the thing of getting anybody off the repeaters or anything, is the fact is just sort of trying to help the system extend its life a bit, and also to extend its life and to be able to use it a little bit longer. As for me up here, there's only 2 operators there. Actually, there's 19 operators here in St. Anthony, but there's only a couple of us that's been active. So like I say, I should say Carl and I both have done the best we can to keep a link up this way, and I invested all my money into this node, and I have an overseer as well to help oversee the time out there. Sorry for that. And that's a good example as well there. Only 3 minutes, I think. But 3 minutes goes pretty quick. But anyway, I want to make a long story short. Is sort of saying that without this the link and be able to connect it to the Newfoundland link repeater system, we wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be able to talk to you today. Also Melvin as well, and we have Carl up here. And like you say, even people coming up on vacation and stuff like that, they've got an access to the main system going across the island. So, but anyway, all good comments, and I just thought I would throw my 2 cents in as well. And with that, we'll send it back to you, Doug. VO1 Delta Mike, VO1 Tango X-Ray.
Yeah, very good, Chris. Thanks for that, sir. Have a great night, and 7-3. Anyone else from the West Coast or the Northern Peninsula? Nothing heard, so we'll listen for stations from Labrador. Nothing heard, so we'll listen for Echo Link or All-Star stations. VE1 Delta Yankee. VE1 Delta Yankee. Very good evening, Paul. Good to hear you again. Go right ahead.
Hi, Doug. Good evening. I was just down listening to my HW12. I got it all fired up again and cleaned up and everything, and listened to the Newfoundland net on it. I didn't hear you very well tonight. You were kind of down in the mud, but I heard a few stations coming through, and I'll just listen to the Maritime net there, and it sounds great and it smells great. I got that rig from VO1 Baker Romeo, Bill. I don't know if you remember Bill or not. Anyway, that's it from here, Doug. Thanks, VE1 Delta Yankee.
Yeah, very good, Paul. Good to hear from you. And for everyone's information, Paul and I are school buddies. We went to school together and lived close to each other for many years. Anyway, Paul, all the very best. Hope things are well with you and family. And we'll make one more call for anyone with comments on Echo Link or All-Star. sum things up, and then we'll go back for any last comments. I gotta stop talking so long because I've been on the air now since 7 o'clock. I had to do Terry's HF net form. Anyway, not looking for sympathy. But don't want to lose my voice. Let me see. A lot of good comments from everybody. One thing I would like to say, Zach used the term throttled or what have you. No one wants anyone to feel that way. And if you do, certainly we're sorry for that. But I think we've arrived at the conclusion that we do need to rest the equipment from time to time. 30 minutes on, 15 minutes off is probably a good number. We should use other repeaters when we're able, but there's sometimes that you just can't. So when that occurs, use the link, enjoy, but just try and give it a rest every 30 minutes for 15. Anyway, if that's all that comes out of this, I think it was a success. So we'll go back and welcome comments from anybody before we close.
VO1MDS?
VO1 Hotel Alpha X-ray recheck.
VO1 DOE recheck. First station didn't get you. You said your call a little fast. I need to try again.
Victor Ocean 1, Mike Delta Sierra. Over.
VO1MDS. Go ahead, Daryl.
VO1 Delta Mike, VO1MDS, I'm VO1 GT. Good evening to you. Everybody bought a repeater there tonight, and every repeater linked to her. Yeah, I do agree with the half hour and 15 minutes off for sure. I'm not sure if a lot of people realize or not, but the job I'm at, I look after a lot of different repeater systems, and I can certainly tell you for a fact that these things do heat up and they can fail. I've seen them actually fail, and sometimes it's pretty catastrophic what happens. So I do agree with definitely with the 15-minute break to give the repeaters a cool down time. They really need it. And you know, if you're using your own mobile radio in your house, in your car, or whatever, even your handheld radio, if you touch the top of your radio with your hand when you're talking for a lot of time, it's almost hot enough to fry an egg on. Like, touch your radio now after talking, and you can tell yourself how warm your radio is getting. So take that into account as to how hot the repeater itself is getting, and every other repeater that's keyed up at the exact same time. So things do fail, and I certainly agree with the 30 minutes off and 15 minutes, or 30 minutes off, or on and 15 minutes off. But anyway, good luck. That's all I want to say, boys, and that's it. And and of course, if anybody need any help with any equipment or repeater site training like that, I don't know how many times I've waved a hand here to say I'm here to give you a hand. I got to follow the rest and all that stuff. So anyways, that's all I'm going to say. All the best, Nigger Easy, VO1 Delta Mike, VO1MDS on GT, Century.
Yeah, very good, Daryl. Well, nice to hear an expert opinion. And thanks for taking the time to drop by. Two more rechecks, VO1HAX. Go ahead, Brennan.
VO1DM, VO1HAX. Sorry for the recheck. I thought this was going to be a little shorter and we'd probably get a second round, so I kept my first one short. I did all my complaining last night, as I'm sure many of you heard. But yeah, I'm just going to say thanks to everybody. There's like 20 of us in here or so. And yeah, lots of great comments and good hearing perspectives from different people across the province, people managing repeaters, and you know, Daryl there who does it for a living. So yeah, since I am, I guess, one of the instigators that uses the repeater and the link, if I may propose with your 30-30, 30-15, after the net, the bunch of us who usually jump on and chat, we can wait a minute, ask if anybody wants to use the repeater first, let them use it. If so, find out who can hit what repeater when we jump on, and if it is an option to go to one of those repeaters, and RCR should be back up soon, so that's good. then we can pick, a repeater and then go from there. Also, Melvin, great to hear that you're still using the radio. I think V1NP was probably the last one to be in the lead, if I'm not mistaken. All right, thank you, Doug. Thank you guys, everybody, for all the input, and I'll pass it back to you, Doug. The final decision is that going to be made right here, right now. Is Sonra responsible, or is each individual repeater group? Do we have a way to determine that? V1DM, V1HX. Thank you.
Yeah, I think the group here tonight determined that, Branson, this is not a club decision, either Sondren or Avrac or Archon or either of them. The group assembled here, I think, has made the decision. And it seems to be that everyone's agreed that we try and use alternate standalones if we can. If we can't, continue to enjoy the link and just try to give it a rest 30 on, 15 off. Thanks again, Brendan. Have a good night. And Lyndon, V1 DOE, V1 Delta Mike, go ahead.
Sorry to be bothering you again. I swore I wouldn't do it, but I had to make a couple comments, but that's just the way I am. But yeah, it was a great conversation, eh? It was really good. I really enjoyed it. And again, we only use the GT system when we have to. When I'm in the city and Chris can only reach so-and-so and that, anyway. But anyway, it was a great conversation tonight. I really enjoyed it. So we're going to agree to the 30-15 thing, which is great. Again, I didn't know about that. If I knew repeaters got that hot, I just assumed they were built for that kind of stuff. Now, after shooting my mount, by the way, I can't really help with, putting up towers and stuff because I'm scared of heights. And, I worked in an office for years, so I got no muscles. But I got a bit of money, so I shot my mouth off, so boys, both Sonra and Avrac, I'll be making a donation to you guys tomorrow. Over the next couple days. I'm going to the cabin tomorrow, so I'll be on Bravo Tango. Anyway, boys, it was an excellent conversation. I loved air and all that stuff. It was excellent. So, 30-15, and stick to your repeaters when you can. So, anyway, boys, I thought it was great. Anyway, boys, I'll say 73. VO1, Owen, and Doug, you did an excellent job, man. You got to keep that up. VO1, Delta Mike. VO1, Delta, Oscar, Echo.
This is the VO1GT.
Yeah, very good, Lyndon. Appreciate your comments. And, I think it was a great discussion tonight. Enjoyed every minute of it from everybody. And we'll be back again in about 25 minutes to convene the Caribou Net. So I'm going to make one more call for anyone who has any further comments.
V1 Hotel Oscar. V1 Mike X-ray 2.
VO1 TAD via Echo.
VO1 Hotel Oscar. Very good evening, Daryl. Go right ahead.
VO1 DM, VO1 HO through VO1 Golf Tango repeater. Thanks for calling me in there, Doug, and I just want to a little summary thoughts. I've listened to everybody. Appreciation to you, Doug, for taking this on. It can be a little uncomfortable taking an issue like this, but it's needed, and you've done a great job. Thanks for everybody for their comments and input. And I think we've forged some good way here this evening in the spirit of fraternity and collegial cooperation. Just a second. My first introduction to ham radio was in '69 through my father, and I've watched 2-meter rigs go from steel cases weighing about 50 to 75 pounds in your trunk to
little HDs the size of a chiclet where you can speak to the world, and of course our smartphones. And all that's possible, not just technology, but for many who stand by and volunteer and give to put the system in place. It's not a right, it's a privilege to have this, and I've seen it broken many times and down and up, and it's always better to have it up, and it's certainly exciting to see people using this. And we wouldn't want any messages getting out there that we don't want people to use it. That's just not it at all. But just a bit of self-regulation and we're working together as a group. I think it's great. Good positive evening, Doug. Thanks. 73 from VO1E, Joe.
Yeah, very good, Daryl. Thanks for your comment. And 7-3. And another repeater expert that we're waiting to hear comments from. VO1MX, go ahead, Brian.
V1DM, V1MX. I just wanted to throw out too, like, when everybody is on, you're looking at roughly 40 radios. But not all of them are repeaters. Almost half of them are mobile radios. So I key up, Doug keys up, somebody else keys up. The part of the mobile is still keyed up, and that's where you want to get your brakes in and let them cool down a bit. Other than that, I got nothing else to fill in.
Yeah, a good comment, Brian. I'd forgotten that, and that's good to remember that not all these systems have NSR 2000s or other heavy-duty cycle systems. So anyway, just to sum it up, and then I'll make one more last call after I do, that we've agreed, I think, that we try to use alternate repeaters when possible. When it's not possible, we try and stick with 30 on, 15 off to give the systems a chance to rest. And I'll break now for one last call for check-ins for tonight's roundtable.
1 November Sierra.
VO1 TAD is the echo.
Yeah, V1 TAD. Sorry about that, Tom. I didn't write you down. Go ahead.
VO1 Delta Mike, VO1 TAD. I just wanted to say thanks, Doug, for running this. You did a great job. It's greatly appreciated, and a lot of good points made by everybody all around. Just wanted to say thanks again before we ended it. Back to you. 7-3, VO1 TAD.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Have a good evening. And V1 November Sierra. You, sir, have the last word.
A very good evening to you, dear Doug, and to all on the frequency. There's one thing about it, Doug. I don't have to talk. I do like to listen. So if anybody talks, I don't care how long they talk. I like to listen. So that's my comment. Go ahead.
Yeah, very good, Melvin, and that's a good one. We appreciate it. All right, I'm going to close this roundtable discussion now at 8:40. Good comments from everybody. We appreciate your input. It's good to have friends all over the island. As I say, I count you all among my friends. And we're starting to go. We'll say 7-3 to everybody. We'll have here about 20 minutes on the evening caribou net. So this is VO1 Delta Mike, giving VO1 Golf Tango all the other repeaters a rest. 7-3 all, and good night.